Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's often been said that we need a purpose in life. Life is not fulfilling. It's not going to be what it should be unless you have a purpose. You're doing something that's in alignment with you and what you believe in. And that also makes sense for our animals. They have jobs, they have roles, they have purposes. Are they happy doing what they're doing? What is their role? We're going to dig deep into that. She can communicate with animals and get those answers. And she's amazing. She's an animal communicator. Martha Malone is with us. Martha, welcome back. How you doing?
Well, thank you, Steve. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to have you here. And I do want to say that when we last got together with just a picture off my phone and his name, you provided some insight for a kitten that I just adopted, and it was awesome. It was spot on about his personality and about his background. So and that was just a call it a mini reading. We just did something quick there. But that makes me wonder. I have a dog. I have two cats. What's their role? What's their purpose? And are they happy? And when we talk about their role, how do you mean that? How do you mean that?
Well, the role, it can be something that the animal's soul, the animal already has and it comes to you with, or perhaps the animal needs to be given a role. A role, if the animal has a role already, the animal's soul, then that's important to fulfill, because each soul, it's important for them to fulfill their purpose in whatever current lifetime, whatever body. Because if the purpose goes unfulfilled in that lifetime, then, well, that's not very good for the soul, and then the soul's progress in terms of karma and eventually making it to the ultimate place of goodness in the universe, where one does not have to reincarnate if one does not want to or choose to. So sometimes the animals will come with a role already, perhaps a teacher, a guide, angel, healer, protector, or guardian. There's many other roles. And sometimes an animal does not come to a person to be their animal with a role already assigned. And if the animal does not have the role assigned already and does not have a job in the person's life, in the household, or whatever situation it might be, maybe it's not a household, maybe it's a working cat for a farm to catch mice or something along those lines, then the animal can get confused, to say the least. Sometimes it can result in behavioral issues. Sometimes, I suppose, it could even result in health issues. And with the behavioral or with the health issues, it's of course important for the animal to know the purpose. And when the animal does not have a role, perhaps it doesn't need a role. Perhaps the soul's purpose does not need a role. But when it does, and there's confusion, and it ends up with behavioral issues or health issues or something along those lines, that of course needs to be addressed, but it can also create a lack of connectedness and bonding with the person, and it makes it where the animal feels not very understood. And for there to be a good relationship with human and animal, and connectedness and bonding, and animal feeling understood and appreciated, and like they have a place, and if they needed duties, roles, jobs, and fulfilling their purpose, then it's it's just a thing that people need to know. And sometimes the people need to assign a job. So for instance, maybe it's a big dog, um, maybe a German Shepherd, for instance, and perhaps the German Shepherd is experiencing some kind of behavioral issue, um, not paying attention, or maybe what am I trying to say? Not 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 really minding very well, or maybe is being a bit aggressive,
Mm.
or barks inappropriately, then the person can talk with me, and I can talk with the dog, and figure out, is this maybe the dog is feeling a lack of purpose, and needs
You
a
know
job.
what's interesting? What you said is that it's the same thing as adults. Like if you're not doing what you should be doing, you're going to be typically miserable if it's not in aligned with you. You know, let's say you're doing a job that is really not your thing. Um, it's going to lead to maybe depression, maybe stress, maybe anxiety because you're just not doing your thing. It's kind of going against your grain. And it sounds like it's the same thing for animals.
Exactly. It can be either they don't have one and they need one, or they're doing something that isn't aligned with what they actually are meant to be doing. It can go both ways.
Mm.
And this this is hard for people to know unless they talk with an animal communicator like myself or others. And it's really important, just like with people, to be doing what their soul is meant to do.
And how would you know? Like, I wouldn't know. I look at my cat. I think he's happy. You know, even my dog. Dogs are a little bit easy. Well, look at me. I'm not the communicator, but I think dogs are easier to read in terms of what their purpose may be, what their job may be. But I don't know. They seem a little more forthcoming. They have, you know, certain routines. Although one of my cats is like a dog. Like he is, I can call him, he comes. I say, give me a kiss. He'll give me a kiss. He'll he's a little bit different. What do you hear? Like if you're going to communicate with an animal and you want to find out about their happiness in terms of their job, their role, and their purpose, what have you heard from some animals? And how would you even change what they're doing? How would you pivot around that if you find out they say, "Hey, I'm not happy doing what I'm doing." How would you make that change?
Well, if they're not happy doing what they're doing, then I would of course need to talk to them and find out, well, what is what is your soul's purpose? What is your duty, your job? What's your role? What are you meant to be doing in this lifetime in your particular body? Ask them. I would ask them. And they might say, well, I'm meant to instead of being a protector, I'm meant to be more of a nurturer. Or if maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they're meant to be a protector. Maybe they're meant to be on alert and taking care of their people by barking and being a bit aggressive. But if it's something along those lines and it's causing issues for the people, then I would need to work with the animal to help them fine tune how to perform their duty, but also do it in such a way that it doesn't cause issues for the people, if that's possible. And I would also need to explain to the animal what it is the people feel, and explain to the people what the animals feel and what their purpose is, because it's not all about making the animals do and behave and be in such a way that it satisfies the person. It's it just simply cannot be that way.
So you're saying their role, their job, their purpose may not necessarily be to please their person. There could be other jobs that they should be doing or feel they should be doing.
Right. And sometimes with their behaviors, maybe if they were to change them where the person would be happy, they might feel like they're not doing their job properly. And this is something that would have to be talked about with person and animal to see if there's a way to have a happy medium for both. It's something that's, could happen, quite often does, but not necessarily. And like I said, it's not all about people pleasing.
Right.
Turning your animal into someone who the person likes and behaves the way they want. It's not necessarily meant to be that way.
Let's talk about some of the reasons that somebody would want to use an animal communicator. Now, sir, with me, I know for a fact it was beneficial because my kitten came from a rescue, a foster home. Knew nothing about him, his personality. Kind of got it, but not really sure. I feel like I'm off to a running start in terms of raising him. But some of the other reasons why people might reach out to somebody like you as an animal communicator.
Well, many reasons. Sometimes in situations such as yours, to get to know the animal better. Maybe the animal experiences maybe fear or depression, and you just got the animal, you don't really know why, perhaps. Then it's helpful to talk to the animal to find out why exactly. Maybe the animal's been abused. If so, I can help with that, to help the animal understand the new situation and help the person understand what the animal went through. Maybe it's in relation to a past life. If it's past life stuff, I can help with that, resolve issues with that. I can offer energetic healing. And in regards to abuse, abandonment, neglect that sometimes animals experience and their people who adopt them aren't really aware of, then I can also help with the animal with healing and recreating a better past situation to help with the healing and the emotions through this phenomenon called time travel,
Hmm.
which I've been trained in. Sometimes that can be very helpful. And
Let's
other
let's
things.
talk let's talk about that, Martha. Time
Oh,
travel is it past life regression?
time travel. I don't know if I'd necessarily say past life regression, although it's kind of like tied in with that. But time travel, um, well, it can include past life transgression. Yes, um, or past life regression. Sorry. It can include that. It's going into the past, and perhaps there's a something that needs healing or recreating, and you simply just energetically go into the past and recreate. uh I mean, depending on the situation, recreate. Like that's what I would do for an animal who's been abused, abandoned, neglected, is
Hmm.
go in the past and recreate it. Find out first from the animal about the past, and then from there energetically time travel back and recreate a different situation for the animal, which helps with healing from fear, depression, anxiety, things like that. And then
Reincarnation. I'm curious now. Now that we're talking about that, what are your thoughts?
reincarnation. Wow. Reincarnation is really amazing, and it's a great way when it happens, and it quite often does with animals and their people, for the people and the animals to reunite. Sometimes in the person's current lifetime, if
Hmm.
the person had an animal at one point and the animal passed on, it's not unusual for the animal to reincarnate, come back, the soul in another animal body, or maybe another person body, or maybe some other body. But it's a great way for there to be
Hmm.
reunification, the souls to reunite. It's really very beautiful and extraordinary.
So interesting. I want to share with you the not the kitten that we talked about that you read, but the oh no, it's a cat, but it was a kitten. Yeah, I've had him for 6 months. Um, he very much, very, very much reminds me of a cat that I had years ago. And just his mannerisms, and they were both orange tabbies. Um, but I almost feel that it's him in many regards. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost that like this parts of his personality that are the other cat. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, would you like to take a couple of minutes and ask him?
Um, we have like 4 minutes. I don't know, and I'd
Okay.
have to
Well, maybe next session.
absolutely, yeah, and I'll get a picture ready for you of him.
Yeah.
But I've my guts when my gut says something, it's usually right, and I've learned to tune into it. And my gut is telling me this is a connection to the other cat. There's something there. Um, and I put him down. You know, he passed in 19, and I just got this other cat 6 months ago. But there's a connection. So yeah, we could do that. I would love to, see what you got.
Yeah. Well, I'm I'm sensing that it is his soul. The soul of the one cat has come back into another body. I'm sensing it is. I haven't talked with him yet, but I'm sensing, or is this Ricky?
No, this is
No,
another
not
cat.
Ricky. Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
this is
Ricky.
Rocco. Yeah, this
Right,
is the one
right,
I adopted. I could see why you're saying that because I adopted two right around the same time. Difference of,
right,
call it, 6 months or whatever.
right.
Um,
Ricky's more.
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. Well, we'll officially do it next time we get together. But there is, and
Yeah.
this cat was very close to me. He was kind of my guy, and I don't know. I feel, when I pick him up, even there's similarities. There's similarities. And it's easy for somebody to say that, but I feel something different. I don't know if
Well,
that
you
makes
have
sense.
the energy,
Yeah, feel the energy for sure.
and energy, when one is really connected with the energy, they know the energy, whether it's a human or animal, plants, whatever vessel the soul has chosen, they they know. People, well, all souls, they recognize the energy of the other soul if they're really connected.
And even
And
the cat that I'm talking about, now that I'm getting a visual in terms of a purpose, one of the reasons I got that cat was for my daughter who was going through some challenges and continually does, but all good. But this cat, that's why I got him. And he serves his role. he totally he's there. Like if I open her door to her room, he hears the door, comes running, jumps up on her bed. He's there. He's all cuddly and lovey, almost to the point where sometimes can you get him out of my room? It's like it's overkill because he's so mushy and loving, but he's doing his job, and that's what his job was.
yeah, yeah. And there again, talking about the roles and the purposes in that body's lifetime.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll be the same or similar in other lifetimes. And when animals reincarnate, if the soul's body, like I said, was really connected, then they'll know. And quite often animals will tell me when the body is passed on and I'm talking to the soul and spirit, they'll tell me, well, the person is going to know when I come back.
Hmm.
They'll sense the energy. They'll know.
Wow.
A lot of them tell me that.
We're just about out of time, but I would love to also talk about the energy healing that you offer. We haven't really dug deep into that. Reiki is one of them, right?
Reiki is a form of energetic healing. I work more with love and light energy, and depending on what it is, maybe I do the time traveling, which is also energy.
Sure.
Um, Everything's energy, as we said.
Yeah.
But I also do the this technique my animal communication teacher taught us. It's the Wei Chi patch, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's using green energy in whatever part of a body that needs healing with the intention to heal it. Intention is very important with whatever kind of energetic healing or modality, whatever it is you're doing for energetic healing. Intention is
Hmm.
always important.
Yep. I'm right there with you. And I learned that even with saging a room, the intention needs to be there. Martha, always great talking with you. I learn a lot. And there's that. Now that we're opening the door to some other stuff, next time we get together, we'll hit that. Your website, do I have it right? Is it marthatalkstoanimals.com?
Yes, that's my website.
Got it. And if somebody has questions, which in this line of work, I'm sure there's lots of questions to know what they're, if it's a right fit and if you can do what they're looking for. Do you have a free consult?
I don't, well, I've never really offered a free consult, but
if somebody has a question, you can, there's no fee just to learn.
Yeah, if somebody
for.
wants to contact me to find out if they think I might be able to help them,
Sure.
then yeah, I wouldn't charge for that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Martha doesn't work for free, people. She's good.
But yeah, like if somebody has a particular situation and they want to see if I might be able to help them,
sure.
Yeah, they can reach out. I'd answer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go to the website, marthatalkstoanimals.com. Next time I will have a picture of Rocco and we'll tap into his energy and talk about the other energy modalities. But I appreciate you being here today, Martha. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Same. And we'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.